So let me play devil's advocate a little bit though, Dr. Thompson, because some people are of the view that, look here, Dr. Thompson, look how much pitney I walk up and down in a market. Look how much pitney I walk up and down past stoplight. You can't go to a stoplight and not be bombarded with a barrage of youngsters. Some of them so young, you can see the breast milk still on their lips. And yet still it look like you're targeting TikTokers and their children. So why you don't want to take up those children? Well, wipe car glass to and down a market and I sell the chocolate them at night time on the road, doc. How not gonna look for them picnic and them the parents there?
No, but the people are making assumptions that we're not doing that. Because, we have been over the years, we carry out operations to identify the children living and working on the streets and to ensure that we safeguard them and provide some kind of support.
Because we're trying to shed some light on what this agency is all about, what they do, so we can have a better understanding and appreciation of the work that they do, and so we can also streamline ourselves so we're not running afoul of the law. Doc, many persons will say, or are of the view that the CPFSA only operates in Kingston. Because, the other parishes, the pit them down that get peer-lick, the pit them down that get ill-treated, and the CPFSA down in the rural areas, removing these children.
All right, so a CPFSA office and a team is in every parish.
Welcome. This is the Jamaican Scoop Diva, and these are the headlines. Child Protection and Family Services Agency, CPFSA Director Dr. Warren Thompson speaks with Miss Kitty as he answers key questions that have been on the public's minds regarding TikTokers including Rosalie, Red Ants, and Anna losing their children, as he claims TikTokers are not being targeted but rather serve as persons who expose themselves in a manner that the CPFSA has no choice but to intervene. He also added that work is also being done in the streets to remove children island-wide from different kinds of circumstances, contrary to what the public may believe. And secondly, Aidonia's home has been raided by the police. Stick and stay for more. Don't forget to share and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the notification bell and leave your comments below. In a much-needed, very informative interview conducted by Miss Kitty, she questioned the director of the CPFSA as regarding this whole new wave of what seems to be TikTokers' children being taken away by the agency. Now, of course, many persons have claimed that they are targeting the CPFSA are targeting TikTokers. However, Dr. Warren Thompson debunked this claim as he explained thoroughly the process of how children may be removed from their homes if it is considered that the home is being a harm or serving as a harm to the children. He went further to explain what happens in the event that a child may be harmed whilst staying in state care, and he stated that the parent or the caregiver of that child who might have been harmed is free to go ahead and make a police report regarding that agent or against the agency. He also claimed that in the event that the agent has definitely been found to have done something harmful to the child or children, the agency themselves would definitely sanction that worker, and that worker would actually have been removed from work up until his court date or his trial. In addition, he also stated that there are conditions that a child may be taken away as it regards to a child not attending school. Very important. A lot of times we see children between the ages of 4 and 16, as he stated, not attending school, and sometimes this may be the result of neglect. However, he stated that there is an interview or an investigation that is conducted to determine if it is needs and wants, so to speak, or just natural neglect on the part of the parents or guardian. Finally, he said that a background check is necessary, and it is conducted whilst hiring CPFSA agents to ensure that they have the qualifications to deal with these children in a correct manner. Take a listen.
So let me play devil's advocate a little bit though, Dr. Thompson, because some people are of the view that, look here, Dr. Thompson, look how much pitney I walk up and down in a market. Look how much pitney I walk up and down past stoplight. You can't go to a stoplight and not be bombarded with a barrage of youngsters. Some of them so young, you can see the breast milk still on their lips. And yet still it look like you're targeting TikTokers and their children. So why you don't want to take up those children? Well, wipe car glass to and down a market and I sell the chocolate them at night time on the road, doc. How you not gonna look for them picnic there and them the parents there?
No, but the people are making assumptions that we're not doing that. Because, we have been over the years, we carried operations to identify the children living and working on the streets and to ensure that we safeguard them and provide some kind of support. In fact, we actually have, we did a street and working children study in 2020. And we have used the findings from that study to implement a program through a third party in some key communities that were identified as the communities from which the children on the streets tend to come from. So we have we provided an intervention over 1 year just now, and that has been extended to another year. So we're doing the work. Now, you have to also understand just the dynamics of children living and working on the streets. Some of those children, they would have removed them. They may have come into our care. Some of them absconded, so they run away from the facilities.
Right.
We have gone out there. Sometimes when they see us coming, they run. Sometimes they come to me and I wind down my window and they think I'm a police officer. So sometimes they run away, right?
Yeah.
But many of them, even though we may remove them, they tend to want to go back to the street. Because
that's the life they know.
Right, that's the life they know. So we try to encourage, citizens, the public, not to support them in that kind of way. Where you need to make a report, make a report. One of the things that we have to watch out for as well, Kitty, is when you see a child working on the street, the child could be begging, the child could be selling. By being on the street, the child is at risk. Right? Risk of harm because, vehicle can lick him down. Somebody
can kidnap them.
Right, anything can happen. But in some instances, there is someone who has sent that child out to work. Yeah. So you have to look for, those kinds of exploitative situations. Sometimes children, they're sent out to beg and they have to carry in a certain amount of money to somebody. So in those instances, we have to respond not only to remove the child, but to address the root cause.
The perpetrator.
Yes.
Yeah, the perpetrator.
So it's a very nuanced kind of situation. But we do try. Every now and again, we do operations.
Because we're trying to shed some light on what this agency is all about, what they do, so we can have a better understanding and appreciation of the work that they do, and so we can also streamline ourselves so we're not running afoul of the law. Doc, many persons will say, or are of the view that the CPFSA only operates in Kingston. Because, the other parishes, the pit them down that get peer lick, the pit them down that get ill-treated, and the CPFSA down in the rural areas, removing these children.
All right, so a CPFSA office and a team is in every parish. That's one thing to note. But we recognize that there are some parishes where it's also difficult for persons to get to the CPFSA. So one of the things that we're actually going through now, we're trying to identify some spots, some spaces that we can use as outstations. It's something that we have done in the past, and we are looking at doing it again. In fact, we're in dialogue with the Jamaica Library Service to see if we can use some of the branch libraries as that space where people can come to make reports on specific days. So we're looking at, for example, the southern Trelawney, the hills of Trelawney.
Yes.
We're looking at the hills of St. Thomas. We're looking at some parts of St. Catherine, where, it's a far distance for people to travel. So we're trying to see if we could go to those communities and we can see, 1 or 2 days per week at this library or at this school. There's a CPFSA officer who is there. Persons can go, make the report. You want to talk to somebody, the CPFSA is there. But one of the things that we have also done, we have made it easy for persons to reach out to us. And I saw one of the comments earlier, someone wanted to know what the number was to call us and make a report. So, 211 is our main reporting line. 211, 3 digits, easy to remember, and most importantly, it is free. and this is operated on a 24-hour, 7 days a week.
What about persons who may be concerned that their children or children are getting hurt or may get hurt in state care? So, for example, you take my child or remove my child from the residence. The child was quite fine, all was well. They go into state care and something bad happens to them. What is my course of redress?
Very, very, very important question. Very good question. I don't know how to answer the question.
Get a lawyer.
Yes, that's what I would say, but I can't speak against my agency.
Yeah, get a lawyer.
If your child is in the care of the state and you believe that an egregious wrong would have been done against the child, then one, you file a complaint because if it's for example a staff member who would have hurt a child, then there will be sanctions. There are sanctions for that, right?
Absolutely.
So you make the report so that the investigations can be done, and where the staff member needs to be sanctioned or whatever other HR processes.
Yes, I'm hearing you good. Yes.
Right? Or where you are able to get a lawyer to guide you through the process, right?
Yes, absolutely. Doc, in terms of, say, for example, attending school, I know we have truancy laws in Jamaica, albeit some may argue that they need more teeth to be more robust, right? Does the CPFSA take into consideration, like, for example, children who are of school age, they ought to be in school, but for whatever reason, parents are depriving their children of an education? Does that fall within the remit or the ambit of what the CPFSA does?
Right. Yeah, because the Child Care Protection Act says that a child is to be in school between age 4 and 16. So where a parent is not ensuring that the child is in school, then that is considered to be neglect. You are neglecting the child's rights to an education. So in those instances, we step in as well to see, one, if it is really a neglect situation, or is it a case where there are other constraints and the family needs some support. Where it is neglect, of course, we step in and we, if a removal is required, then we do that. But if that's not required, we try to support the family to get the child into school, caution the parents, as it were, and continue to monitor the situation. Before I move on, I saw one of the comments about staff being sanctioned rather than going to prison. If the staff committed a criminal offense, then
it's out of their hands.
Police, yes, it's out of HR hands. And in fact, once the staff would have been arrested for a crime.
Yeah, and charged, yes.
And charged for a crime, yes. Then the staff, goes on interdiction, will not be allowed to be at work during the period of the court proceedings. So, yeah, if it's a police matter, you report to the police and they will take it from there.
Let me ask you, Doc. Talk to me about the checks and balances that goes into background checks in terms of hiring people to deal with these children, because it's a very sensitive area, and not all and sundry should be able to just get up and work at the CPFSA. Right. How strict or stringent is the background check, the information, and antecedents of the person before hiring them?
Right, so we have always gone through a rigorous background checking process. Of course, the police records, references, we do some background, research on the individual, but we're improving that process. So one of the things that we're starting to do now, all new recruits have to do a psychometric assessment prior to being made an offer. And in fact, we're even seeking to refine that process now, because we want to ensure that we don't employ anybody with, tendencies towards
right.
who hold some, their value system doesn't align with ours. They come and they work in the system, but they believe that children should be, because folly is wrapped up in the heart of a youth and the rod of correction will drive it out. Those kind of things. So we're trying to improve on our background checking process. Right now, that's something that we're working on.
Finally, In other news, it seems like the police has carried out a raid at the St. Andrew residence of dancehall entertainer Aidonia, whose given name is Sheldon Lawrence, this morning as a part of what they described as a series of major operations across the St. Andrew North Police Division. Now, according to the Gleaner, the police indicated that the simultaneous operations were in search of individuals suspected of involvement in criminal activities and the alleged possession of illegal firearms. Police sources say nothing illegal was found at Aidonia's home and declined to indicate if the entertainer was present at the premises at the time of the raid. However, two individuals were at the entertainer's house were taken into custody pending further investigations. Police sources note that several premises across the division were searched simultaneously, and one person was arrested and is likely to be charged for the breach of the Firearms Act. Meanwhile, head of the St. Andrew North Division, Superintendent Randy Sweeney, is appealing to the public to assist the police in apprehending police persons of interest who are wanted for serious crimes and murder in the area. So it seems like Aidonia has his hands full with these matters. And just like with the TikTokers and the CPFSA being accused of targeting TikTokers, many times when you are in the eyes of the public or you are popular or you are a celebrity, what you do affects how the police or the public or authorities perceive you. So, of course, we know Aidonia is very successful, he's very talented, but he's also known to have violent like lyrics or very violent lyrics, and sometimes these lyrics may possibly whisper to what he or maybe relate to what he is actually doing in real life or maybe perceived as such. Sometimes his hands may be clean, but due to his music, it causes for suspicion by authorities, and sometimes these are the reasons why persons are being investigated by the police. I don't know much, we just have to see how it plays out. And with that being said, this is the Jamaican Scoop Diva. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Please take care of yourselves.